RSL Nation? Welcome back to the Bro.
Bros. Welcome back, everybody. It's good to be back.
It it is good to be back. A day late. I'm gonna
Day
say
late.
it's your fault for being a
Hey,
day late.
hey, life happens. It's okay. But we're here. We're here.
We are here. It's still your fault.
It's always my fault. It's always the little brother's fault, right?
Oh, always little brother's fault. But I did see you in the weekend, so I'm not even gonna ask you. But how was your weekend?
You did see me on Sunday. Yeah, we saw each other Sunday at the parental's house. I went to a concert on Saturday. I'm sorry for everybody who was wanting to see me at the RSL game on Saturday. I was not there. I was with the girlfriend, with Maddie. We went to it was a whole concert, bunch of concert people playing at the Galvin Center on Saturday. It was a good showing. Barely even knew who the artists were, but it was fun.
You gotta love those concerts where you're like, I don't even know who you are, but rock on,
Yeah,
rock
there's
on.
people who were like who've been long core listeners for several years. I'm like, just heard of you guys just now, so
But
good for you guys.
what kind of music was it?
Indie, pop, alternative, that kind of stuff.
That's probably not my scene.
Yeah. So it was something else. Very sad that I missed the RSL game because of course the one game I don't go to, they win. So
What did I say about my lucky jersey?
your lucky jersey is the lucky jersey.
I'm telling you, I should have worn it today too, but I wore one of the other ones.
Yeah, can you make it so it's one of those jerseys you never wash and just it's on the cycle?
I have a secret to tell you. I don't
You
wash my jerseys.
let's not tell the wife.
I doubt she's listening, so yeah, she won't ever know.
Ah. But how was the weekend besides seeing me?
Uh, because that's the highlight of my weekend.
Oh, absolutely. Seeing me makes your weekend that much better.
Um, what did I do? I can't remember. Why couldn't I do anything on Saturday? Shoot, I can't even remember the weekend. Do you remember what I did?
I think you had plans Saturday because I was texting you during the RSL game and you were kind of a
Oh, yeah. I had stuff that I was doing. Also,
yeah.
there was a birthday party. Okay, I remember now. Shoot, tells you how memorable that weekend was. I mean, haven't you guys all had one of those kinds of weekends where you're just like you get to Monday, Tuesday, and you're like, what did I do on the weekend?
It goes too fast sometimes. It just fast forwards way too fast. But we're here. We are back here for another episode. Right back at it.
It's true. I do want to propose to Governor Cox that the work week be 4 days and the weekend be 3 days,
Would
at
you rather
least.
would you rather have Friday off or Monday off? Which one? Take your pick.
Ooh. I'd rather have Monday off
Monday off? Yeah, I agree.
because
But
Friday feels like Friday.
well, let's make it so half day Fridays off Monday.
But then that's just longer work hours. So whatever, it is what it is. We all want longer weekends. We want to get
We
paid for not working.
we all want more money, but nothing like that can happen. Only one can wish.
Only one can wish. But we there was a game. There was a game.
There was a game that both of us did not attend to, unfortunately, but they knew that we weren't there, and they're like, "Oh, the bros aren't there. We can still win without them."
It's true. It's true. But good thing it's not a pattern. It's not like every time we don't show up, they always win. It's not like that. Thank heavens.
It's true. It's true. It's true. But let's get right into it because we got a lot to cover in today's episode. So Saturday, like you said, we had a game against the Vancouver Whitecaps, who used to play home here, if you remember back in the COVID days. So they're very familiar with playing here at the Riot.
I totally
So
forgot about that.
yeah, right. Yeah,
Wow.
because the Canadian teams they couldn't go back to Canada because of COVID. So a few of them, Montreal and Toronto, they had to go play home to at different stadiums, and Vancouver chose here at RSL.
Did they choose or did they get assigned?
Maybe both, because who wouldn't want to play here?
It's true. Who wouldn't want to play here? But then
I think
again,
it's all
who?
maybe because of the altitude. Maybe that's why they chose us.
I don't know.
Who knows? But I find that convenient because I'm like every time Vancouver comes and plays RSL, I'm like, oh, it's the little brother part two because we have Colorado and Vancouver, little brothers.
That's true. At least this season they're both little brothers.
That's true. That's true. So let's get around to the lineup for this matchup. So Anelli back into the starting 11. Finally, it was good to see Anelli back
I
playing in.
think I think it was because Pablo got asked post game Dallas like, hey, where's a Mecca? And I think it didn't sit well with everyone. His answer saying, yeah, Emeka's doing great. He's doing just fine. And all of us were like, so and
So I guess he didn't listen to. Well, I didn't ask him, but he should have listened to my thoughts when I was going to ask him about Lambert.
got to get Lambert on the flipping field, man.
Yeah, we need that bad. So Anelli back to his normal spot, playing in that left back role. Glad and Vera,
Right back.
um, right back. I'm a little dyslexic here.
You're like,
Le- left, right, left, right. So Anelli playing in the right back, Glad Vera back playing in their duo, and Oviedo once again. That makes it 3 games in a row for him.
If I say that you're wrong, I'd be probably wrong. So I think you're right.
Something like that. And then the likes of Gomez, Palacio, Loflison, which is a surprise, and Luna back in the 11 with no other than Musaski after his little stint away from the club, and Chicho. So
I I find I found
a
this
lot of surprises to that 11.
I found this very interesting. We'll start with the back line. With the Vera wasn't the surprise. It was Glad that was the surprise.
Yeah,
Only because of a couple of other absences. Which I'll just say right now. With Ojeda being not being in the starting
yeah,
11, and Sava not being in the starting 11. Drama with Sava, we'll cover that.
yeah,
Um, but I'm surprised that Glad got the start because supposedly the rumors have it that Pablo was sitting out those who were not showing forth enough effort in this last couple of bad games. And so I guess preview to Sava, that's supposedly the reason why, but I think that's also the reason why they sat Ojeda as well. So it was a surprise for me, but I can understand, I guess, the reasoning.
you don't see it maybe for rest because they just played Wednesday.
No, at this point, you shouldn't be. It should be for rest anything because we're this late into the season. Everyone should be in good. Uh, Everyone should be in shape, my friend. They're not. They don't have my body. They should be able to go a couple of games.
I hope none of them have your body. Like that'd be really concerning.
Though some of them might be pushing it.
No,
um,
but so obviously you said Glad was the surprise in that defense. I do agree with the performance that he has been showing as of late. I would like to see somebody like a Kevin Lambert to finally get his start to be paired alongside Vera. That would have been amazing to see. What other surprises surprised you from
um,
this 11?
um, before I go to the actual real surprise, I Luna Gomez, that was a good lineup,
Hmm.
and both of them had good games. Thank
Yeah,
heavens.
yeah.
Both of them have had absences, many absences for the past month and a half, and Gomez for even longer. So it was good to see them get minutes and play well in those minutes. Uh, Luna getting some good action, and Gomez getting an assist. Uh, it was just overall good play from them. Now the surprise,
Yeah.
the surprise. Um, there was moose sightings
There
all
was
over.
there was moose sightings. He sat out from games, from practices. I think it was close to about a month, if I'm
It, it
right.
was it was exactly 4 weeks from his first missed game appearance. So he missed the starting from the second Houston game up until now. So how many games is it? We're talking? So second Houston game, Portland, Colorado. Who was after Colorado?
It was
Oh, it was Dallas, wasn't it?
no, San Jose and then
Oh, San
Dallas.
Jose, Dallas, and he appeared after 6 games. That
M-
is ridiculous.
My thing is, you sat out for 4 weeks. I don't think that's anywhere that he deserves to have a starting role because you have to earn that from previous games. Like, yes, he's had a great season so far. He's up to 6, 7 goals, something like that, including US Open Cup. But sitting out 4 weeks and just all of a sudden showing up, that for me does not deserve a starting role.
So now tell me this. Would you rather so and this might be a hard one as a coach. Do you sacrifice the team and their position in playoffs in the standings to prove a point? Or do you just say, hey, bro, you're one of our better goal contributors, team contributors. Please come back because we really need you in order to move forward. And do you just stick them in the starting lineup and say, you know what, we need help right now? I mean,
You know, that's
do do you prove a point or do you just suck it up and be like, let's put him in?
that's a tough one because I'm honestly in between because I would want to suck it up because the West is tight as it is with only five. Well, at the time, there's 5 games left. But I would also want to prove a point because I would want to show the rest of the squad that if you do this, you deserve the bench. So that's not what we need to be seen in this club.
Um, so I know you're stuck in the middle, but choose one.
I would probably lean more to the side of having play him just because the West is tight, and also we don't really have somebody else who can step up on the bench as striker. Because yes, we have Krylak, Rubin, Julio, but are they to the same speed, technical ability as a Musovski? Not really, because Musovski has shown that he deserves that starting role.
I wouldn't choose Musovski for those reasons that you mentioned, but he has been pairing up with Chicho a lot better than
Yeah.
the other ones. Even though I would maybe argue that Kryluk kind of has a good on-field relationship with Chicho, but I'm in the same boat. I would suck it up, grab him, throw him into the starting 11 because you're already without Sava, you're already without Ojeda.
Hmm.
Um, Granted, like I said, the two wingers had good games. Lawfulson unfortunately had an injury, and Pablo was forced to put Ojeda in.
Hmm.
But I think they had to put Moose in. They
Yeah.
had to in order to get some kind of goal production.
Now I'll ask you this one: with Musovski coming back after four weeks, do you feel like obviously RSL hasn't said anything, but do you think under the rug he's maybe signed an extension?
No,
You don't think so?
um, no. I hear things in the wind. I and
Obviously, yeah.
I can't confirm them, but from what I hear, it was just Pablo having a sit down with him, saying, "Look, we really need you right now. We can't afford to have you off to the side right now. Fix your contract stuff after the season, but we need you on the field right now." So I think it was just one of those hombre a hombre talks.
Yeah, yeah. That's just seems the most logical because Pablo was probably realizing how much this team needs Moose in scoring goals because, as you know, we've only scored what 5 goals in the past few games and letting in 15. So much needed, much earned.
Yeah. So those are my lineup thoughts. Other than that, this was something that I would have expected probably normally throughout the season, but
Yeah,
because of obviously injuries, dramas, lack of effort in the past couple of games, we've come to this lineup.
yeah, yeah. It's obviously it would be more powerful in that midfield with the likes of Sava, but drama's drama.
Yeah. So, um, I'm actually t- overall this game for me, I was happy with the way that they played. So, like we mentioned before, we had to watch this game afterwards, even though we already knew the result. So maybe I'm kind of biased because I already knew the result. Um, Actually, I'm going to say that. Yeah, I'm kind of biased with how I saw the game because of the result, but I felt that the team came out um at least before Vancouver's goal, the team came out pressing everywhere on the field. It was a nonstop high press, which I liked. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it reminded me of when we played Dallas on that Wednesday a few days before. Just very high press, very attacking right away. And I believe we were pretty even with them throughout the match. And it was with Vancouver scoring early in this one off of that corner. The assist by Ryan Gauld, who with that assist, that makes it 10 assists. That's crazy to believe. 10 goals, 10 assists for Ryan Gauld. Crosses it over to Brian White, 17th minute. And it was right then and there. It just seems like RSL just put on the brakes and just kind of stopped trying.
Um, I would kind of disagree with that. I'm only because of this. There wasn't I didn't feel much from Vancouver in terms of attacking, pushing forward. They did have let's see, in the first half their possession was pretty equal to ours, but
Yeah,
their kind of possession wasn't anything that was threatening. Um in fact, let me do some math here. Out of 195 passes, 137 of those were in their own half. So that puts it at 70% of their passes were in their half. What does that mean? It means that they weren't pushing.
they're just kind of playing more defensive.
They were just trying to play keep away. And
Yeah,
that's where, in fact, I would even attribute to this. Our high press is what caused them to play so far back, because
yeah.
we're we did press the goalkeepers, the couple of defenders when they passed it back and forth back there. But it was when it started coming up just a little bit is when we were just hard pressing. You had Palacio, you had Lawfulson, and I'm talking before the first goal. We
Yeah.
All of them were just high pressing. Gomez was high pressing. Even Luna was high pressing. It was a good press to cause them to just keep that possession on their half of the field, which then in turn it doesn't give them as many opportunities to go forward. The opportunities that they did go forward, they ended up getting corner kicks out of those, which then leads them to their goal.
Yeah, and going back to that, we've talked about it several times, just man marking and on those set pieces. Glad kind of lost his man to be able to leave a wide open Brian White to slot that through.
Let me say this. The move that White put on Glad was excellent. That is something you
Right?
hope for every forward to do because literally White was bunched up in a group. He peels off the backside and Glad just gets stuck in the group. That's like it was like textbook. It was like I need to show this in a clinic because it was clinical.
Yeah, it was well done by Brian White. He's one of those strikers who I don't understand how he's not getting more attention. Maybe because he plays for Vancouver, but he's him and Ryan Gauld are having an excellent season because I think that was his 12th goal on the season for Vancouver.
In fact, I want to verify that. That was number 12. So he's he's got a good amount of goals. In fact, in his whole Vancouver career, he's at 35 goals in 94 games. So it's like
And what's crazy to believe, Brian White is only 3 goals behind for the Golden Boot right now.
that's crazy. That's
Yeah.
crazy to think. Um, but it was for me that one play. Well, in fact, I'm not even going to attribute it to bad defending or bad marking either, because it was. I mean, how do you mark something like that? I mean, Glad could only do so much. Maybe swim over the group that he was stuck in. I don't know. But for me,
He pretty much did all that he could do because Brian White, like you mentioned, just found that ball and just he squozed, he squeezed right, and just made it right through.
that's another debate. What is the past tense of squeeze?
Squozened.
squeezed it,
Squeezed it.
squozed. Um, we can definitely debate about grammar. That'd be fun.
Another episode. Another episode.
Another episode. But I'm gonna I'm gonna repeat myself and say RSL had an overall really good game, and
Yeah.
and after that goal, for me, even though they didn't score, they still had they still had shots on goal. They
8
still
shots in the first half.
yes, 8 shots in the first half. Though I mean, none of them were like really on target, but it was the sense that we we were still pressing after
Yeah.
that goal.
Yeah, so half of those shots were on target. So 4 were on target, while Vancouver in the first half only had a mere 1 on target,
Which was the goal.
which was the goal. So all in all, it was a solid first half for RSL. Let's jump over to 31st minute, where we see Jasper Loffelson unfortunately picks up an injury. We see Brian Ojeda come on for Loffelson. Did you kind of feel like I don't want to say I told you so, but it's kind of like, hey Pablo, you should have been playing Ojeda to begin with.
No, I personally don't think it was something like that. It was a freak injury. It was one of those where knees knock, but it wasn't a knee injury. It was an ankle injury because of the
Yeah,
knees knocking. Lawson was in the middle of running, and his ankle gets twisted in the turf. So
the tur-
um, but it was a turf. It was a turf monster. I mean, find the grass.
look at the grass. No, but yeah, watching the game over and seeing it in replay, it was unfortunate how he rolled his ankle and not able to continue the game. So hopefully the best speedy recovery for Jasper Loffelson. Hopefully not out too many weeks because we need any backup we can get for our defensive midfielders.
Yeah, we definitely need our midfielders. But I wasn't like a I told you so kind of mood when Ojeda came in. I think it was expected. I mean, who else are you going to put in that position? So I think it was expected to see Ojeda in there. I'm surprised with for me how well Ojeda came into the game
Oh, really?
because I mean, what do you think?
Because I feel like Ojeda kind of has, I guess, stepped up in that role of leader.
Hmm, I don't know if leader, to be honest, but I do think I mean, there's my opinion. I just think he came well into the game, being in the 31st minute, not being able to get into the same jive as everyone else at the beginning. Um, I think he, from minute one, when he came in, I think he was in the game well.
Yeah, yeah. So it took a little bit of adjusting for him, but he eventually he got the groove overall. Um, Halftime down 1-0. It's kind of a same old story. We've kind of seen that for RSL being down at halftime at home. What do you think the talk in the locker room was for Pablo? Another game being down at halftime, giving up an early goal.
Do you want me to quote the Hablo con Pablo?
Please, let's hear some Hablo con Pablo.
I actually can't remember it, but I'm assuming that it was just keep up with what you're doing, keep the press,
Yeah.
because you could see that the press was working. They were breaking down, which then brought on some quick plays where we could get a shot off or get some kind of possession, some kind of plays going. So the press was working. Um, my feelings at halftime were we have to get this because we I felt like we had good momentum being down 1-0, but we were playing well. What were your feelings at halftime?
Yeah, I wasn't too discouraged just because we were having those chances, we were having the momentum. So wasn't too discouraged because I knew with the players that we had with Musovski back in the 11, it hurt to not have Sava, but I knew with those chances that something was going to come in the second half.
Now, this is me being really facetious. You knew that something was going to come, even though you knew the result already when you were watching the game.
No, no.
I was just thinking that I was like, we're talking like we just watched it live and we
No, no, no,
really
no, no,
watched
no.
the replay.
No, so with being at the concert, tracking it via FOTMob, thank you,
Okay.
FOTMob. So I would check the score and the stats every couple of minutes while at the concert. I was multitasking.
Ooh. Okay, that makes more sense because
You're like, wait, he knows the result. What is he talking about?
you're like I'm like, what? What do you mean you felt that way? As you knew the score and watching it? I was like,
No, no,
you're
no.
you weirdo.
It came to me.
I felt really nervous, but I had a gut feeling that we were gonna pull this out. Um, but yeah, I going into halftime, I think there was a good feeling there.
Yeah, yeah,
Even though
yeah.
we're gonna leave the part that we know the result.
No, obviously going into the halftime, there was some good momentum for the squad besides the likes of being down. So with that, we go right into the second half where right away, 2 minutes in, Chicho gets tackled. Uh,
but I
bu-
mean that first minute, we just picked up where we left off.
yeah, right.
We didn't drop the energy at all, which was different
We
from
we
the Dallas
we
game, the San Jose game.
we pressed pause, and then we pressed we resume on the video.
It's true. I did that. In fact, no, I got tricked by Apple TV. I didn't know that they took out all the halftime stuff. So here I'm like forwarding, and I'm like, oh shoot, I'm already like in the 48th minute. I had to rewind. Anyways,
Rookie mistake.
I mean, I usually watch games live, so this is one of the few games that I've watched
Everybody, this,
afterwards.
this is why you don't watch the games in the past.
um, but
So
the
literally like 2 minutes into the second half, we get Chicho who gets taken out about 25, 30-ish yards out over there. And who else would step up? Because we don't have Ruiz, we don't have Sava. Brian Vera. Once
well,
again.
well, I do want to say this. Um, that Luna looked like he was going to step up and do a cross. It was just going to be a cross in.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and until he looked at Vera, kind of looked at him like, "You gonna do this?" And so Vera, I I, I think if I captured the right angle, I think he went something like, "Sure." I think that's what it was like. Sure,
¿Por qué no?
¿por qué no? So, um, Takaoka, he tried to cheat.
Yeah, yeah. He was coming off his line, kind of going over to his right side, kind of being like teasing Vera, be like, try me. And Vera's like, sure, I'll do that. And he just whips it in, bounces right in front of him, and just sneaks into that.
I'm telling you, that um, I think the same thing as Takaoka when they fixed the camera on him. the,
Hmm.
the if you read his lips,
Oh, he's like, oh
no,
shoot.
no, he didn't say that. He said this. What? That's what he said. He's like, what?
He didn't expect a shot. I think, well, maybe he was expecting a shot, but not to that speed, not for like a furious bounce like that right in front of him.
I honestly think it wasn't a well hit ball either. Um, it looked like it was just a hard hit ball, and it just happened to be right at that near post.
Right, right. So with Brian Vera scoring two free kicks now, and we've already seen what Pablo Ruiz can do. We've seen what Sava can do on free kicks. I think we have multiple options now when both those players, if all those players come back.
This room, so how Vera takes his free kicks reminds me of Sergio Ramos back in the day used to take some free kicks. If it wasn't Cristiano Ronaldo, it was Ramos that was
Yeah,
taking. And there's plenty of other center defenders that take blasting free kicks too. But it's nice to have a. Well, here's the problem now with Vera taking free kicks.
because
Every
who's gonna be in the box to head the ball in? Because with his huge frame.
That's not the issue I was thinking about, but that is an issue. The issue I'm thinking of is everyone knows he's going to shoot on goal. He's not going to cross it. it's a shot on goal. So that means all goalkeepers are going to be doing the same thing as they do with Messi, add a one or two more in the wall, and then cheat over to a certain side. So that way, obviously, there's no chance of it going on goal.
Well, they need to start doing their homework then because he's our secret weapon for
Well,
free kicks.
now let me tell you this: in the first half, Vera also took a free kick, and he blasted it at goal, and Takaoka caught
He
caught
yeah,
caught it,
yeah, he got
and
that.
so homework he did. He just tried to cheat because
Yeah.
he thought that since it was 30, 35 yards out,
So
that
the lesson to learn here, kids, cheating never the answer.
yes, you're right.
So teach your kids that cheating never good because we see that right there kind of playing it off the line a little too much, and Vera gets the goal to tie it up, which was huge for us going 2 minutes into the second half.
Yeah. And it was good for us to tie the game. That tie feeling left us kind of like, okay, we can now relax a little bit. And that's where it ended up being a back and forth game at that point.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
just there wasn't any one team that was dominating. It was just back and forth.
yeah. So very back and forth. Both teams getting chances, but nothing coming of it immediately right after that goal. But about 20 minutes or so later, we see RSL answers back and we take the lead from a beautiful Carlos Gomez. Gomez is back onto his assist ways that we saw from the beginning of the season when he was getting multiple assists every game. And Glad, poor nose, the nose of Justin Glad.
Yeah. I want to talk about the build-up though to that because it was a corner kick. So
Yeah.
it was supposed to be a fast corner.
Wait,
Luna
was it? It was Luna that took that, right?
Luna takes the fast corner. Um, the ball gets rejected back out to Gomez, or not to
Mhm.
Gomez, to
Chicho,
Chicho. Chicho then tries to do a Rabona cross. That
which
gets
that,
rejected.
which that was kind of a tricky, gutsy kind of play. I'm like, why are you gonna do a Rabona? But sure, go for it.
Hey, everyone wants to do their inner Di Maria. Di Maria is the
Yeah,
king of Rabonas.
yeah. I'm over here seeing like just cross it normal instead of doing a Rabona, but he does that, gets
It,
deflected.
I mean, it looked like it was gonna have a good pace on it, but it does get come back out to Gomez. Gomez does a little shimmy, um, but the way that Glad makes contact and the ball ends up in the back of the net for me was like weird because it wasn't
Right?
like it was a controlled header either. It was he gets pushed in the back, kind of does like this arching, goes off his face. As the ball hits his face, it makes his head turn the other way, and then he gets blasted by the head of the defender, which then makes his all nose bloody.
Yeah, left a good bloody nose for Justin Glad. Do you think, obviously, he does score that once to give RSL the 2-1 lead, but do you think if Justin Glad doesn't score that goal with his face, do you think that eventually the ref maybe VAR and then points the spot?
No, no,
No?
that's not enough
Well,
for a foul.
even with the contact that he was getting pushed from behind?
No, that's not a foul. That's not enough for a foul in the area because it's one of those that players are jostling for position.
Yeah.
He jumps because it was probably the defender was on his back, but
Mhm.
right as he was jumping, that's when the arm probably was still slightly on his back but falling off, and that's where he gets the whole face action. But
True,
I
true.
I mean, how many of those things? How many of those have you seen called,
Very few.
if any?
Yeah, 'cause looking at it afterwards, I saw some contact and I was like, "Maybe, possibly," but it was just so fast and there was not enough, so glad that he glad he got glad he got
Ah,
the but thank goodness we got the lead, and glad that Chicho not Chicho, Gomez got another assist because Gomez hasn't had an assist, I feel like, since May or June, so it's been quite a long time.
um, in fact, I think it's a lot sooner than that, to be honest. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Am I
And
mistaken?
the last last. Oh man, it was. You're right.
Oh,
June.
June 17th against DC.
Yep. So it's good to see him get on the score sheet in terms of assist. It's good that we're getting more.
Five assists on the season now for Gomez.
Yeah. So right after this goal, we then start seeing some substitutions.
Yeah, so we see Oviedo and Musovski come out. Um, not surprising at all. We see Brody and then Julio come in. Musovski, I think, because he hasn't played in over a month.
Eh,
Oviedo, just because Oviedo didn't really bring much, in my opinion, to this game.
Actually, I'm gonna say the opposite of you. I'm gonna say Oviedo is taken out because he's been in too many games. He's
True,
been
true.
he's been in back-to-back games, and so this was his third game in a row.
That was, yeah,
And,
3 games.
and Musovski gets subbed out because he wasn't really involved in the game.
Yeah, yeah. So Musovski, if we look at his stats, he only had one total shot in the whole game, 10 for 11 for passing. So it was one of those, yeah, I know you've been out for a month, but help out the squad. Let's get some chances generated.
Now, yeah, this is I have an issue with everyone judging forwards on their involvement, and if their involvement is not a goal or assist, then they didn't do jack squat.
No, but for me, I feel like strikers should be taking more shots because we only see from Musovski in this match only one chance.
That I can agree with that one. But I think my issue is that Musovski this game probably had more of a Rubio Rubin effect in terms of he was just moving. He was just moving around.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And his movement then created spaces for other people or possible plays or maybe for other people to take shots.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall Moose's involvement was pretty quiet. And so I don't see anything wrong with pulling him off in the 68th. In fact, I probably would have pulled him off in the 60th.
Yeah, yeah, I do agree. It was good to see Musovski back with the squad, but seeing him come off a little bit earlier would have been nice to get some other fresh legs out there.
Yeah.
But we switch over to there were yeah, so second half for RSL, it was just literally controlled by Vancouver. 61% for them to our 39. They were kind of owning us on the passing as well to 193 to 111. And yeah, so a lot of chances for Vancouver, a lot of passing, a lot of possession, and literally owning the midfield, but they just couldn't generate and get that equalizing goal.
Can I make a suggestion?
I
Here's my suggestion. Um, I think between the 75th and the 85th minute is when Vancouver sees the majority of their passes. The majority of their successful passing and possession, and that's where they were attacking a little bit more, um, at least putting a lot of pressure on our side of the field. If you look at their shot map, um, you have shots. Even though they only had 6 shots in the second half, you
yeah,
had them in the 72nd, you had it in the 82nd, 90th, 90th, 80th uh 99th minute. but but a lot of those shots were concentrated within the between the 70th and 90th minute. And
yeah.
so
So
that's where I think a lot of their possession probably came from too,
mhm.
which caused them to have a lot more momentum within those 20 minutes.
Yeah, and they had the likes of Gald and White who played a full 90, so they were still having those two attacking players with them for the whole game. RSL made two last substitutions in the 85th minute, taking out Luna and then Chicho, bringing in Rubio and then Hidalgo. So it's kind of interesting to see, kind of weird to see those two players come on. No, did those
Think
kind of surprise you?
surprise, no, but I think it was just kind of a time wasting sub. Like I said, it's in within those minutes that all of a sudden Vancouver's attacking a lot. I think these subs were to break up the attack. And since we had already used one substitution opportunity with Loffelson, we only had two opportunities left. So that's why we couldn't separate the subs farther out. Um, but I think that was just to break up the run of play for Vancouver, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. So then the ref calls for 9 minutes of stoppage time, which was quite a lot, quite a lot of stoppage time. And in the 94th, I did mention to you that we have an interesting stat. I've been holding off for this since Sunday, but 94th minute, Brian Vera gets a yellow card. And you want to know why this is a special yellow card?
Why is this special?
He now leads MLS for most yellow cards.
Well, flip.
Congratulations, Brian Vera. You have the most yellow cards in the whole league.
Well, we can say we have the most in something, right?
We don't lead in Golden Boot. We don't lead in shutouts, but we lead in the most yellow cards in the MLS.
Gotta be proud. Gotta be proud.
That is proud. But let's get to the I guess kind of controversy. So towards the end of the game, the ref we see that the ball looks like it crossed the line. Some say it crossed the line, some say it didn't. What are your takes on that?
That wasn't at the end of the game. That was like in like the 83rd minute or something like that. The VAR situation was the handball.
The handball. That's what I'm getting confused of.
Okay, so
I'm getting
handball.
confused. I'm mixing both situations up. We had handball, we had VAR.
Um, so handball, no, not. It was a good no penalty
Yeah.
conclusion because the some people thought so. If we're angling it, I'm going to angle it for you guys. Maybe no, I'm not going to angle it. So Vera was thought to have had his right arm out like in a right angle,
Mhm.
and so his hand was out, but the ball struck his body on his left side abdomen, pops up and hits his left forearm and then bounces out. But his forearm is against his body. It wasn't out in an unnatural position. And I think the only reason why VAR was called was because of the right hand when it how out it was. The camera angles made it look like it hit his right arm. But
Mhm.
when they looked at the other side, the left side of Vera, they could see that it bounced off his left abdomen up into his left forearm and bounced away, but the left forearm was tucked in into his body.
Yeah, yeah. Watching the game, I was confused as to what everybody else was seeing because that's exactly what I saw. I saw his arm was like that. I saw chest, arm, and then the ball went. So I'm like, yeah, there's no real contact there. And then with the possible ball across the line, it in my opinion, it wasn't close. It wasn't really close. But who knows? We don't have goal line technology, but it looked like McMath kind of made a clean diving save for that.
Well, so did the Austin keeper. No, the Seattle. So did the Seattle keeper, but that ball was apparently over the line. So for me, I have no opinion because I don't have a camera angle.
Yeah, so who knows if eventually maybe MLS will get goal line technology, but we picked up the 3 points at home, which was huge for us in this wild race in the playoffs. For the playoffs, we now sit 43 points in fifth place, tied for Houston. They have us beat on goal differential at +7 to our -3.
Yeah, this is not going to be fun. I mean, we have between um between
Second,
second and eighth, there are
yeah,
4 points.
yeah. So that's why it's a tight race, like it is every year come getting close to decision day. So, but speaking of that, we have a game coming up. Well, not Wednesday.
But wait, we want to talk about Sava.
You're right. You're right.
Don't be skipping on to other games. There's still a lot of stuff to talk about.
We got some Sava news.
Well, we don't have Sava news. We just want to talk about Sava.
Okay.
Okay. Um, so Sava, everyone knows that RSL admins tweeted out after someone asked where Sava was. They said he's out for personal reasons. To which Sava's like, "What do you mean personal reasons?" Oops. So
You aren't supposed to say.
So first, my first thought is, um, when fans start asking where players are, I personally don't think that the admins should be saying anything unless it's an obvious injury.
Yeah,
I think in this case, I think everyone should have been silent and waited for official word, like in a press conference, if the question was asked, not on a casual social media comment. Um,
agreed. It's kind of not their place to be speaking for somebody else. So it just felt weird and wrong.
I mean, I personally wouldn't have done it. I don't know if it was right or wrong. I personally wouldn't have been saying, yeah, he's out for personal reasons when in reality I think there are other motives as to why he's out. Um, Personal reasons indicates that he personally chose not to play because of X reason in his life. Um, that's why Sava's response was, "What do you mean personal reasons?" It's
Right?
which then begs the question, what was the real reason why Sava was out?
There could be a whole list of reasons as to why he's out. There could be he's not jiving well with the team. He's just not liking how things are going with this squad. So many things. But then Sava comes out with a video on Twitter and Instagram of different highlight reels of his days here at RSL, tagging another sports agency, a different one that he was affiliated with. So that kind of gives you affirmation that maybe Sava is stepping away from from the team.
Um, I'm not sure. Um, some people have been saying that this was a coach's decision, like I had mentioned before we started talking about the Vancouver game, that it was due to performance. And so it was coach's decision to leave him even out of the 18 because I think all of us have noticed that Sava has been slacking off in terms of effort. Um, though here's the thing. I try not to judge people on their efforts or players on their effort on the field. But when you can it was noticeable, especially in this last game against Dallas. It was just noticeable. I think I mentioned it to you that you could just see that he just wasn't wanting to play. There was no press, there's no
If
fire in him.
If you look at previous games that Sava has started or played for RSL, the last time he scored or assisted for us, you have to go back to July 22nd in Leagues Cup, where he had a goal against Seattle. So it's been almost 2 months, and it's like, come on, you've played like 7 plus 10 games in that time, and nothing for us. So he hasn't been there at all in that time.
Yeah, so then the question begs, where does the issue really lie? Is he having player coach issues where he doesn't want to listen to coach instructions? Is he having player to player issues in terms of not jiving well? Does his personality fit well with the team, how it's being shaped right now? Um,
I think it might be something to do with maybe a little bit of both, the players on the squad as well as Pablo, because remember the first time Sava was here with RSL, he was doing fine. He was scoring goals, he was assisting, he was doing well with the players that he had because I think he had Plata, he had Rusnak, many different players who obviously aren't with RSL now. So maybe that has a little piece to do with that.
I have seen uh, I think body language has been expressed during many games where he's frustrated with how certain teammates are playing, with how they pass the ball, with how they move, and it's just not how Sava wants to play or wants to work. And
Yeah.
so I think there's a frustration with the type of play that RSL has right now, and the playing style. It's not jiving with him. Someone had made a comment on one of my posts that said that this the formation that we're playing right now, the 4-4-2, probably does not fit Sava's style. As some would think. This person suggested a 4-2-3-1, which I would even suggest. I would say yes,
Yeah.
but also a 4-3-3 where he is one of the wingers on the front three. That is where he thrives.
That would be ideal because I've been mentioning that along with the diamond are the two formations that we need to play more of an attacking one where we have Sava and Luna playing on opposite sides of that attack.
I think because of the players that we have right now, especially with Luna, Gomez, and Chang as the other midfielders, I
Mhm.
don't think that a 4-3-3 is even possible. So does that beg the question then, does Sava have space on this team anymore?
It's becoming more of a defensive kind of team. So right now it's hard to see a fit for him, which is sad to say, but I don't know. I hope that we find some way or another to keep him around because we need him. We need how he's vital for this squad, but he just really hasn't shown much of that in the past 2 months.
I will say this, news coming out of Brazil is that there are two clubs that are heavily trying to get him. One being Fortaleza, which we suggested back in June
Mhm.
6th, if you really want to look back at the dates. Um,
Yeah,
there's a guy named Merlos, a South American journalist, that reported that Fortaleza was sending in offers to RSL to try to get him in the summer transfer window, and apparently those talks didn't well, they fell through. But Fortaleza is still going after him. Another club in Brazil is Cruzeiro. Another So there's two clubs in Brazil that are going after him, and all in all, the Brazilians, especially the Futebol fans, love Savarino. They
yeah.
loved him when he played in Mineiro.
His
Um,
his his first time down there, he did really well, and he won a trophy for them too.
Yeah, so Sava thrived
All
in Mineiro.
all I can say is if this is the end of Savarino, I just hope we are able to get a good replacement and get a lot of GAM out of this.
Um, so here's two thoughts to that, and we probably are spending too much time on this, but two thoughts on that. Yes, we can get a lot of money from him, which then in turn we can get someone that is worth about the same amount. Also, with Krylock basically out of a contract by the end of the season, basically.
Yeah,
Apparently, there's a contract extension option that's in place for 2024. Who knows if we're going to take that option? But
that's
that
true.
would take a lot of money off the table as well
Mhm.
for us to get better forwards, better midfielders, or even better defenders to replace Marcelo as well.
Do you feel last thing, and then we'll move on from this Savarino talk because of course with the Savarino talk we could spend all day. But do you feel like this is the right time and place to be doing this so close to the end of the season, so close to the playoffs and all that? But or do you feel like this is the right time, right feeling for him to just kind of part ways and move on?
Well, he can't. Right now, no one can leave. But I'm not a fan of playing these contract games when you still have games to play,
Yeah.
especially when you know you can't leave until after December 31st. It's like, hey, focus here, or at least focus for the next month and a half. Get us through the
Yes.
playoffs, and then go with your agent and figure out your contract issues.
Yeah,
But
agreed, agreed. We saw the same thing with Musovski. Musovski probably sat down with Pablo. So I think similar thing maybe needs to happen with Savarino. Just have a talk with Pablo, kind of figure things out and move on and work things out at the end of the season.
yeah, yeah.
So we'll see. We'll keep you guys up to date on all the news, what's going on with this interesting detail, and if Sava does play for our match that is coming up Sunday.
Yes, Sunday. Oh man, Sunday's gonna
So
be a hoot.
Sunday, we got a big one against the defending MLS Cup champions LAFC at their place. But prior to LAFC playing against us on Sunday, they have a huge match tomorrow, Wednesday, Campeones Cup against Tigres. So they just LAFC just played Saturday, tied 0-0 to Philadelphia. It was a rematch of MLS Cup from last year, funny enough. And now they literally have to play Wednesday against Tigres.
So LAFC has not been the greatest run of form as of late. Um,
No, they
they've
they w- they went on a 3-game losing streak back in August to into September.
so ever since they lost, they fell out of League's Cup. Um, their first game after League's Cup was just fine because it's against Colorado. Sorry, um,
Yeah.
and everyone should be Colorado. Now, after that, somehow they went into a slump, and this slump was no bueno. Um, with Charlotte, Inter Miami, Portland.
Mhm.
Um, especially in, if I'm not mistaken, it was the Inter Miami game is where the Buwanga Vela issue appeared. Apparently, it's a non-issue according to LAFC fans, but where Buwanga didn't make a pass to a wide open Vela to basically score a goal, and ends up just blasting it away. And Vela got visibly angry, saying a couple of choice words
Yeah, yeah.
right in front of the camera. So um, so during that time, it's just not going well for LAFC. They then go into El Tráfico and beat the Galaxy, which again, Galaxy, Colorado, beatable teams. They should win.
Absolutely.
Um, after that, you think, all right, LAFC back on track. Kind of not really. They they
No.
do play against two hard opponents though, in St. Louis and against Philadelphia. But we are talking about um I'm going to step away from who the opponents were to how heavy the schedule is for them. They went from
Right.
El Tráfico on a Saturday to Wednesday against St. Louis away. They traveled again to Philadelphia on Saturday. They play in the Campeones Cup on Wednesday against Tigres. They play against us on Sunday. They play against Minnesota on Wednesday and Austin again on Saturday. They are
So
going,
that 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 give that gives me the question. Do you think the LAFC are gonna go all out in this Campeones Cup, or are they gonna be resting some players?
well, I mean, what would you do as a coach if you've been playing, let's see, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday?
Mind you that this is a trophy against the best Liga MX team, Tigres, best MLS team in LAFC. It just to me, it doesn't really. It's kind of a pointless trophy. Like, yes, you guys already won trophies. You already won MLS Cup, but this regular season matters most because of how tight it is. I would kind of do a little 50-50. I'd do half bench players, half starters against this game against Tigres.
Well, I will give you a slight insight into what I've heard from LAFC fans and other podcasts. They are wanting the team to go all out against Tigres.
Interesting. Interesting.
They want that trophy because their motto is, if there's an opportunity to get a trophy, we will get that trophy.
Yeah,
Period.
I see that, but wouldn't you be more afraid of injuries, players, or rest time, all those things?
A trophy is a trophy. I mean, so I guess maybe no insult to you, but I think that's what RSL has made us think, because we're a mediocre team, and
Yeah,
so we play really reserved or really conservative, and so when we think of these kind of situations, we're like, oh, maybe we should reserve some players just in case
it's
we don't want people to get injured.
it's the sad reality, but you're right because we see a midweek game. We're like, yeah, let's just rest some players, so then we are prepared for this big one coming against a Western Conference foe. So who knows?
I mean
I
that's the vibe I got from them, where their mentality is, we're gonna go balls to the walls. We're
Yeah,
gonna win all these games. Where when we hear RSL fans, we're like, oh, we should rest. We should maybe switch up the midfield and yada yada. And they're
yeah.
like,
No,
no, full on, let's go.
and don't take Tigres. Tigres is still a very good team. Like they did decent in the Leagues Cup. They've done well in CONCACAF Champions League with the likes of Hignac and plenty of other players. So that is going to be a very good matchup tomorrow night. It's a late one. It's almost past my bedtime. 9 o'clock tomorrow night.
Right now it's past your bedtime. I'm surprised you're even still talking. Um, but
So
your question is valid. That are they going to play, or what kind of players are they going to play against Tigres?
because
And
you look at their match on Saturday when they played Philadelphia, we didn't have I'm pulling up, we didn't have the likes of Vela or Boanga in the starting 11.
so what does that tell you?
They're gonna be ready. I think those two might be starting for tomorrow's match against Tigres.
Might
It would
they
be
will?
along with Ile Sanchez came off the bench, um, or Daz, they're young attacking players. So
Um, uh, Palencia. They've been talking about Palencia being a really good one to watch out for, but their biggest one that they've been really, at least the ones that I've been listening to were really really keen on Kike Oliveira. Kike Oliveira is a new guy from Uruguay, and apparently he works really well with Vela and Buanga.
yeah, yeah. So it's they have the players up top for them.
Well, and let me tell you this, more insight because um, we may or may not have a guest coming up on this week's next episode, but um, from what I've been hearing, they not only do they want everyone starting tomorrow or starting on Wednesday against Tigres, they're thinking about benching a lot of these players on Sunday.
So you're saying there's a chance. I like those odds, my friend.
They've been talking about, if you're looking at the lineup that they played against Philadelphia, it's going to be very similar to that lineup.
But mind you, they still have the likes of Tillman. They still got Aaron Long, Kellen Acosta. Um, they got Maxime Crepeau in goal. So they still got good, solid players. But yes, missing the likes of Bawanga and Vela are crucial in their attack.
Um, yeah, and from the sounds of it, they understand that, but with their mentality of we want a trophy, we don't care. Um, that I think that's what's going to drive them to possibly sitting out some players against us. But like you said, they still have an extra 4 or 5 players outside of their starting 11 that can fill in for anyone in the starting 11, and it'll just be fine.
Yeah, LAFC is a very, very deep team. We saw what they did last season, winning Supporter Shield, winning MLS Cup. So they're not worried at all. So exciting match tomorrow night. So after they play tomorrow, Wednesday against Tigres, then they turn their attention to Wednesday's game. So
Sunday.
what Sunday?
I got you.
Sunday. You know what I mean. Saturday, Sunday, it's all the same thing. It's the weekend.
Yeah. Though
So
you did say Wednesday, so that's why I was like, that's a little off. I'll correct that one.
it's a Sunday kind of game. So similar lineup, do you think for RSL going into that one against LAFC on the road?
Um, my questions only lie in the midfield in terms of the wingers. Do we see Sava come back in? Do we see Moose again? Do we see Luna and Gomez start again? I'm not sure.
I would love to see a Luna Gomez once again because they did so well together. Both of them have the speed, both of them have the footwork. And I say why not? Bring in Musovski, bring in Chicho together because they work well, that pair. And I'm just hoping and I'm hoping and praying we don't get another I don't want to see Oviedo start 4 games in a row.
Um, Here's the thing. I think as a fan base, we're already discarding this game. We already think it's going to be a big L. So
Oh
any
no. Oh, no, no,
You
no.
don't think so?
Oh, no, 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 no.
Well, let's we'll hold off on that prediction, but I can tell
But
you this: the
but
majority of everyone thinks it's going to be an L.
I'll get into my take real quick. The reason I just think mainly for the fact that LAFC, they're playing a midweek game. They play Sunday, then they play again on Wednesday again. They're gonna be tired. They're gonna have heavy legs. They might be resting some players. RSL, they're gonna be ready. Yes, we've only ever won one time at LAFC. So I just think why not? We could sneak away with we could sneak away with some points. So
I think best case scenario we sneak away with a tie.
yeah, yeah, I could definitely see that happen.
Well, we're just gonna have to wait until our next episode to start guessing.
Yeah, so until then, you guys stay tuned for our next episode where we might have a special guest with us who will help us break down this exciting matchup between RSL and LAFC on Sunday. Um,
I saw
also,
I saw that you're like trying to figure out your days.
no, but also stay tuned for tomorrow's game between LAFC and Tigres so we can get a visual as to what opponent we're playing for next match. So if you guys are not following us already, head to X, head to Threads, head to Twitter, Facebook as well, where you guys can give us a like, give us a follow, all those things at the RSL Bros. Catch us on Spotify, Apple, and make sure you guys are listening to us there.
You said it all.
But until then, take care, guys. Be safe out there.
Ciao,
Ciao.
ciao.